And welcome everyone to Overwatch World Cup, and this is going to be APAC Group A. My name's G-Clef. With me, we have Unknown as always, and tonight it is going to be another banger because we have two matches, but it's going to be Indonesia back, not playing yesterday, and also South Korea is also coming back for tonight's matches.
Yeah, South Korea was actually in the baseball field yesterday doing their first pitch.
That's right.
They were actually doing a community event, but they're back today, and it's also very, very going to be exciting today because Japan and South Korea, who are considered most commonly the best two teams on the group, will be playing today.
They're not going against each other yet, though.
Of
That's
course.
happening on the last day of the next Sunday, basically. I think it's one of the last matches, too. So that's going to be one of the most hyped matches for sure in the future. But today, we do have those teams in Indonesia versus Japan. And the second one is going to be the Hong Kong versus South Korea, which is very interesting because Hong Kong, I think a lot of people were saying, and us included, are saying, could totally be the team taking that third placement spot out of the six, right?
It looks like it's going to be that way at the current moment. However, we do have a lot of matches remaining. It is just halfway through the group. It is for some countries it is not even halfway through the group yet. But at the week one, at least for now, Hong Kong definitely looks very, very strong, and looks like they're going to take that third place, but we'll have to see. This is going to be their true test because this is going to be the first time Hong Kong is going to go against a team that is generally considered a higher power level than them.
One of the highest power in the entire World Cup is what a lot of people are saying. Of course, do want to believe that for sure, as I think it's a really good idea before you go into the next stages of the World Cup to test your power level against Team South Korea because they're known to be one of the strongest Overwatch League members all around the squad. So you do have to consider and think you have to measure your own power level in that way. So before we go in, here's the overview once again. We are in that APAC Group A. The top 3 teams out of the 6 will be moving up to that next stage. Of course, we also do have APAC-B with the other countries. Yeah, make sure to follow that too. They're from other APAC. So, of course, we have a whole lot of countries, of course around the
Overwatch
world
Cup
representing so many.
Everywhere in the world. So, yeah, not just APAC. We have Europe, we have the Americas, and although we don't have the qualifiers for China, mainland China, we do have that region as well. And if you look at the broadcast schedule, it's almost 24 hours of Overwatch. So I'm excited.
So if you can watch all of it, you're getting no sleep whatsoever, like maximum 4 hours a day or less. In fact, here's a map pool. You should be very familiar by now, of course. We're all playing until the last day, first to 2.
Yep.
It's going to be the format for all days. And a lot of things happen, especially on that map number 2, because the loser gets to choose the mode and the map.
Yeah, so I think we've seen all 3 control maps, Lijiang, Ilios, and Nepal. We haven't seen some of the maps from Hybrid or Escort because, like you said, G-Clef, the loser can choose the map type and map. So we haven't seen maps like Numbani or some other maps, but I'm expecting to see them. Like we said, the group is only nearly halfway done. So we'll be able to see a variety of maps, and here are the standings. As you can see, some countries played a little bit more than others. South Korea and Indonesia will be playing their second match of the tournament, so they will be matching those match numbers at the current moment. Hong Kong and Japan leading the pack with 2 wins, with all 2-0, so they have 4 map differentials. So the other side of the bracket, it is Philippines and Chinese Taipei with 2 losses and -4 in the differentials. So it hasn't been a close match.
Yeah, so far, and which means no 1-1s happening in the middle at all. There has been no 2-1s happening from APAC Group A so far, because I'm expecting those matches to come real soon. If today, maybe not. If not, next week. And that's going to be changing those even numbers into some odd numbers, especially for that map differential. And, of course, draw the line in the middle. The top 3 moves up. The bottom 3 will be eliminated from the qualifiers. Here's the schedule as we mentioned before. First match, Indonesia versus Japan. Second match will be South Korea versus Hong Kong. It's going to be some quality time, some quality Overwatch for us.
So yes, like G Cliff said, it's going to be very, very exciting to see Japan and South Korea, the very good teams, play. And also, it'll be interesting to see how other teams try to play against them. They know that Japan and South Korea are very, very strong teams. But it's not like the game's over. It's not like they're unbeatable. So Indonesia and Hong Kong, both of them should have a clear list of win conditions and try to execute them. Like this match here, Indonesia versus Japan. Indonesia was actually looking the best out of the teams that lost 0-2, and their double flankers looked really threatening, especially against Blizzard, especially against Hong Kong at Blizzard World on their attack. Their double flankers really seemed on point, and here you can see their starting five. I want to highlight Speed 75 here. His Tracer was phenomenal.
Yeah, along with Proxy Sombra. I remember those super plays and Speed 75, especially bringing a lot of kill catches. Along with Shrimp. I think Shrimp actually had some really cool move from the back line, supporting his teammates. That was pretty good. Wild to see on that map for Indonesia. But they're up against a pretty strong team, and it's going to be an uphill challenge because Japan is considered to be at least in the top two. They should be. That's in theory for a lot of people.
Yeah, so we haven't seen the graphics yet, but Japan is, as we've been mentioning several times, but if this is the first time for you joining us, Team Japan is actually Team Beryl, who was playing most recently in the Overwatch Contenders APAC series, Summer Series, and being like a single team means that they have that team cohesion already in them, which we've seen in the qualifiers. A lot of the teams have been lacking a lot, and so this iteration of Japan is the most refined Team Japan that I've seen in the Overwatch World Cup. So good cohesion, good objective awareness as well, because we've seen, especially in the early days and in other regions as well, that a lot of teams, although they do win team fights, they kind of sometimes neglect the objective, the card, maybe the point on control maps, and Japan has all these kind of communications already set, so that's a huge advantage. And also, Japan is employing a lot of different compositions as well. Winston and double flankers is their main, mostly used composition. Also, we've been seeing a lot of Ram Rush yesterday.
Oh yes, we did. From KSG and also Yuki and Nico, they have been doing a phenomenal job actually going against Philippines and also the Chinese Taipei, both having a 2-0 result. So if they win again here today, Team Japan will actually be standing on top.
Yep. So
just for that moment, maybe.
Well, we'll have to see until the other teams play out. But having 3 wins and +6 map differentials will be a very, very safe spot, if I'm not mistaken, unless they kind of drop out all the other remaining matches. I think they will be in a pretty confident spot in getting into the qualifiers, getting qualified. And here we will have Lijiang Tower as our first map.
Yeah, Lijiang Tower, we've seen a couple of echoes staying in the air. Some turning out to be really great, some actually the other way. Some echo play did not turn out to be the right way. So far, no Fire Mercy as much in APAC Group A. We've seen it happening from the other regions, not just from a specific region. Actually, quite a lot of teams on this map, especially when we go into some part of Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, Gardens is a favorite for Pharmacy to feature in, and also Night Market sometimes as well. I do think that in APAC we do see a little bit more of conventional metas, rather like the Winston dive, the Ramatra rush, rather than some curveballs like the other regions have been employing. I think that Indonesia might feel the need for a little bit of those curveballs because they know that their power levels aren't up to the levels of Japan. They need to identify their win conditions and execute, because this game is not just about mechanics, it's about mechanics and tactics. And for the tactics part, they probably should know that Japan, who has been playing as the same team for at least almost a full year, should be ahead of them. So they need to drag this game down to a pure mechanical fight level, which they're pretty confident in. So a curveball like in compositions would be very welcome, but it looks like they're going for the Winston double flanker that they've been successful in against
for
Hong
Indonesia
Kong here.
Yep, and Japan actually having Torbjorn Reaper DPS with Zarya on KSG. So certainly changing up a little bit compared to the normal, we would say, from Japan's side.
Yes, this is the first Zarya that we've been seeing on KSG, and with Feral having Plankton as their off-tank, this is actually really surprising that KSG is the one who's playing the Zarya here.
Yeah, could totally work when you can actually cover as a tank for against the double. Oh, and if Sombra dies with turret like that, that's not a great sign. Here comes a dive into the side. Here's Kyuki.
The interesting part of Japan's composition is that I think that they actually saw the double flankers coming, because Torbjorn with that turret and that auto aim is an effective measure against the double flankers. So a good preparation. I think Japan did their homework really well, and having Reaper on that as well also kind of fortifies the idea that Japan was expecting the Winston double flankers. So good preparation from Japan. This is what the composition difference is what's getting them the lead here.
Yeah, I think Japan did their homework and went step forward from that, having the there's the turret gone now. Proxy to go down to that before Zekrom actually taken down from Gorbian shots. So that's early tank gone, and without the tank.
Oh, that was a good shot from Nico.
Oh,
and
Mint?
also double boot from Mint there.
Of course, with the help of all of teammates, but still picking up both kills as a Lucio. Doesn't happen that often.
Okay, Indonesia finally found that curveball they were looking for there. They are going with the Pharmacy. Control Center is not exactly the best map to play the Pharmacy here, but they do feel that they need to go with this because they know that the Japanese composition doesn't have a lot of anti-air in them.
Yeah, you might be right, as we're seeing some shots being fired from off to the side. Trying to target everyone inside next to the control point. But, oh, Zekrom dead again, but Speed?
Okay, good post-bomb from Speed 75.
But we talked about this before. When you have Pharah or Echo, you have to consider about the other support, the backline, the members who are on the ground. And knowing that, Japan, they just ignored Pharah at all.
So it is basically the same concept with the Pharah and the Echo. If you have a Mercy if you're going to pair it with a Mercy, then that means your main forces is going to be at a numbers disadvantage. That means either that the forces in the air need to do enough damage to compensate that numbers disadvantage, but it is not the case for now, and that is why Japan, although they did allow the flip for a split second.
Oh, fight! And with the Death Blossom, taking out the Tracer, still had all the advantage. Team Japan just secured that first pretty single-handedly.
Yeah, again, a very strong display for Japan, exactly as we have been expecting them to, and they even surprised us with a new composition. I think this was really smart from Japan. It was a good idea for them in a sense that, okay, we know what they're gonna play, so why not counter them like full-handed? They're just single-handedly countered the double flankers with the Torbjorn, and also the Winston wasn't able to do much because it was deterred so much by the Reaper, and so it was a really good idea from Japan. If Indonesia wants to play the Pharah, this is probably the best map to play because this is going to be Gardens, but Indonesia is opting to go with the double flankers again.
If you can actually go all the way. Zekrom was being cut down so many times from the... Okay, there's again, Ramatra going a little strong. Kiriko, first one to be down.
It's really interesting to see that how Japan gets all these early kills so easily. This just shows how good cohesion Japan has. So Mint, although Lucio is not necessarily has the highest healing output, but the speed boost and coordination makes Japan so strong. But here is that opening maybe Indonesia was looking for. A good hack onto Kuki's Cassidy and took them out, but no further action means that Japan has time to regroup.
And Indonesia will just rotate to the side. And Tracer looking out for some potential to rotate into the point and contest. But the entire team of Japan actually nearby, so Indonesia. Either they make a long rotation towards the left or cross a bridge.
Yeah, Kuki again. It was Nico and control center last time, but right after seeing the double flankers, they are going straight to the Torbjorn, and Japan is just doing really well.
Okay, they take down Reaper, but Indonesia, they lost both of their support, and Zekrom is all the way back here because there's no support to heal him back up. Somehow he managed to stay alive, but now, okay, switching the hero into Jungle Queen. I think that might be a better idea. Even Proxy is actually bringing Cassidy on his own. And I think Speed 75 is actually really good on Tracer, so he might actually just stay on that hero for a longer time.
I don't have any issues with Tracer.
Me neither.
Cassidy is kind of a head scratcher a little bit because it doesn't add any specific value or counter to any specific hero on the side of Japan. However, I do think that they just want a little bit more hit scan power up close. But Japan, even with the changes from Indonesia, is winning these neutral fights, and they're not even using ults here. So it's going to be an uphill fight for Indonesia because Indonesia, if they want to win these fights with the ult disadvantage, they have to bait out the ultimates of Japan.
Oh my.
And they're failing to do so because Japan's just winning the neutral fights.
Just popping that annihilation, they want everyone back into the spawn. Yes, she's not even scared a bit. Oh, might have overstepped a little bit, getting that covered by 99%. Here we go.
Yes,
no one else to come.
I don't think there is anyone to contest.
And that is it. Japan's going to take the first Lijiang Tower.
Wow, what a show of dominance from the side of Japan. Yes, Indonesia did able to, in the end, bait out the ultimates from Japan. But Japan were willing to do that so because they were so ahead in the point percentages. So even if they lost that fight, G-Clef, they would have been happy to give over the point because it was at least overtime, and they even won that fight.
Yeah, even with the Tracer and the Cassidy change was a little bit too late, I think, or else. I think they could have just stayed on Sombra, and then there's a lot of words to say about the plays that we have seen from Indonesia. They were lost in the middle of the game. They were literally lost, and we could see, of course, double flankers. Sombra Tracer, they're supposed to go somewhere else, the other three, but they can't be totally isolated. They have to be able to keep themselves so they can actually get supports, get healed, to cover for each other. That's what this game is all about. Yep. But Japan, in knowing that, okay, we don't see Sombra Tracer, okay, hey, supports, I hear you guys are just over there and doing nothing else, right? And they just dominated, they jumped on top, and it seemed like we have seen these type of play from Japan day 1, day 2, and again in day 3.
I really want to praise the preparation of Japan because they knew that, hey, Indonesia looked they looked best when they were running the Winston double flankers comp. So if we can break that apart, then because in the eyes of Japan, we know that we are the better team. So if we just shut down what Indonesia does best, then there's no other variable that can stop us from winning. So good preparation on the side of Japan. I think for Indonesia that they probably should pick up quickly that Japan knows what we're doing. Japan is countering what we're doing. So I do think that they need to bring up something else. Maybe the Pharah Mercy. I think the change to the Pharah Mercy would have been a little bit of more logical choice than the Cassidy during Gardens. But of course, for Indonesia, I think the most important part is that they need to identify how we can win this fight, how we are going to win this map, and just execute.
And also, I think staying together needs to come. Maybe not with the double flanks, but still, when you change your team comp, you do have to consider about your back supports. And we've seen a lot of from KSG. When he wants to go in with the biotic grenade, there will be that pair. But when the supports are in trouble, the monkey actually comes back and pops that barrier for the supports to survive. And those are the tank ability that keeps you on that top tier level where you can actually compete so much better against the other teams. But to criticize a little bit on Zekrom was not able to really keep himself alive, was always using the barrier without the supports too much. And I think that teamwork really has to come together. When the tank is buying that much time, either the DPS has to do something in trade, or else you're just going to fall, and without the tanks, you can only do so much.
Yeah, of course. It's just I don't believe it's just the issue of Zekrom. It's more like the entire team. But yes, I do agree that Zekrom needs to stay alive a little bit longer. And whether it's Zekrom playing a little safer or the team playing around Zekrom a little bit. So maybe if that is going to be the case, maybe a rush comp who, when everyone is kind of cramped around the tank, may be a little more effective on that. There are a lot of possibilities for Indonesia to play. I do think that Indonesia does have the mechanical prowess to maybe try to put out a competitive series. So I just really hope that they can adapt. And next map will be Blizzard World.
Yeah, the map that Indonesia was actually able to push almost all the way right before that three-pointer. They stopped like 5 meters before that. Which was one of the best push that they actually had. On offense, it was great. The other way, not so much when they were flipped.
Exactly. So yeah, so just in case this is your first time watching, the loser gets to choose both the map type and the map. So I do believe that Indonesia wanted to pick a map that they had fond memories of, and Blizzard World in this tournament so far was the map that they had the best memories of. Like G-Clef mentioned, on that attack, on that offense versus Hong Kong, they almost made it to the full cap, and although they did lose this map to Hong Kong, it was the most competitive showing that they ever shown, especially with the double flankers. And also Blizzard World is a map that you can still go with the Winstons and double flankers. So I think this map choice makes sense for Indonesia. I think Japan, and I think it's for Japan as well. I think they're like, okay, they choose the map that they're good at, but it's still manageable.
Yeah,
I think Japan's gonna think like that as well.
We'll see what happens. There's that Overlord, and the fact that Indonesia has shown that on stage. Japan, well, we've seen first map of Lijiang. They certainly did their homework. Let's check homework, page number 2. So and are they ready?
Japan is on the offense, and it looks like after Nico uses that teleport, he is going to change to the Tracer. So it's going to be a Winston double flankers. Same with Indonesia, except for the supports. And to be honest, I think that on the attacking side, okay. Never mind about the compositions because Nico's going brrr. And, but Japan, to go back on the compositions.
Nico wins. Okay, I wanted to highlight on the Tracer fight. Sorry to cut you off there, but Nico Tracer versus a Speed 75 Tracer. That was one of the highlights that I wanted to point out before, but here we have it.
Yo, my friend, who cares about compositions if Nico can fire and kill everyone on the point?
Where are they fighting?
They're fighting all the way in point B, and it is going to be an early point A for Japan here.
Oh, yes, they are. Okay, so that's the first gone away from Indonesia now. As Japan, they have kept their pushing.
Wow, this is one of the biggest time banks in Blizzard World that I've seen in a while. And Japan, although it is unofficial because it is not the Overwatch League, already holds a record for the fastest push for Gibraltar, off-point Gibraltar. So this is a show of dominance once again for Japan. And I was wanting to say that Indonesia's support line swapped to the support line that Japan has, and I think this is a superior backline for this composition. And so swaps. One of the things about swapping back is that, well, they do have similar ult charges now. Maybe because they got a little bit more damage that dealt to them, but it is going to be a slower pace than Japan did because Nico already has that pulse bomb, and
there's
profits with it.
And suddenly goes down Nico, the first pulse bomb landing. Perfect strike on it, and also gets G following up with the double flank, catching Tracer.
So,
more.
Shrimp is down again. So even though if the Nano is quicker than Cloud, who already has, by the way, the Nano, Indonesia had that chance to use that Nano Monkey a little bit faster than Japan and make that stabilization happen. But no, because of the heroics of thanks to the heroics of Nico, they got the support line of the Indonesia down and they just steamrolled into point B.
And they're staying alive with not much of an ult usage from Team Japan. They're still continuing to push, but the payload is actually all the way out on the back, which means this is a 4v5.
and still Japan is making these kills
How
happen.
is this happening?
And that early EMP on the backline, Chun-Li is still surviving thanks to that rally, but Shrimp is anti-needed and down. I wanted to mention this earlier, G-Clef, but Cloud yesterday had some nasty anti-needs, and Cloud is doing it again.
Yeah, when you can have all the fun. Well, while pushing the payload, if you have nothing else to do, just make sure you have the perfect biotic grenade.
So for Indonesia right now, they just need to pop all their ults right now, because at this point, there is no tomorrow. There is no next fight, because if you lose this fight, this is going to be the full cap for Japan.
There's no sunset.
Okay.
EMP. Pretty good.
Nico taking down Chun-Li again, and Mint with that rally. Oh, who cares about the fight? Because
What?
the payload is already in, and 4 minutes, 28 seconds time bank for the side of Japan. What a massive time bank.
Wait, Team Japan, they didn't even have to get the final kills to get that payload in.
Wow.
It was too fast that I actually lost track of that payload.
Wow, that was pretty rough.
Play.
This is a highlight reel. This is basically a highlight reel from Nico there. We haven't mentioned Nico as much for Japan, but even while we were casting Overwatch Contenders APAC G-Clef, we couldn't... Excuse my language, but we couldn't shut up about Nico because Nico was so good. He made the heroics. He made this... Sometimes he turned around an entire series that was losing to winning. And this kind of difference maker is on full display against Indonesia.
Yeah, Nico's Tracer. We knew that. It was always pretty talented on that hero, but along with the teamwork, of course. But Indonesia does not really, not matching up the power level at the moment, and but it was their defense now that Indonesians in offense, can they actually push all the way just like Japan?
It'll be definitely a tall task. Kuki is there to scout the composition of what Indonesia is running. Indonesia is still running the Winston double flanker comp. I think if Indonesia wants to run this comp, then Speed 75 has to... I don't think Speed 75 has to go to the backline. I think Speed 75 has to follow Nico to the end of the world and just stop Nico from doing damage to their own backline. I think that's going to be enough.
If you can win and Speed takes down Kuki first, that's a DPS gone for a long respawn now, even though it's a Sombra.
That is a start. KSG very, very low as well. If KSG falls, that is going to be the opening that Indonesia needs. Zekrom falls though, but still Indonesia will be having that numbers advantage and that respawn advantage.
Yeah, they will come eventually, but Indonesia.
Oh no, but
not really forcing all the way, not going towards the point. I thought they had a chance.
Yeah, they had their early kills, but then the backline of Japan went on full bloodthirsty mode, and they made all the kills happen. So Indonesia had to full reset, G-Clef.
Yeah, we thought it was okay. Here comes Zekrom again. Testing around the point. There is also KSG, the both Winstons. Back and forth.
Good nade. It forces the Suzu out, so that means KSG can dive very, very safe, confidently.
But not catching the kill, actually. KSG has to rotate all the way back around Shrimp.
Is down.
Get taken down eventually. Zekrom pops that rage, trying to survive.
Zekrom pops a rage, but Shrimp is already down, so they are very short on sustain here. It looks like Zekrom's going to fall, and he does. Cloud with the anti-need again and again and again.
So even picking up the kill, this guy can be offensive at the same time. Are you trying to run? We have the snipe.
So Japan is using their ultimates in a very disciplined manner right now. They're only using the ults that they absolutely need to use. So this means that even though Indonesia are using the ults to try to make it an opening for this fight, Japan wins. Not only do they win, but they have more ultimates that they can spare. For right now, Cloud has the nano that they can use to KSG. After that nano, KSG will be probably having that Primal Rage, and the EMP will be online.
Yeah, Q-Loud right next to the DPS. Zekrom again jumps. Has to be a little bit careful because every single time he's in the air, he's already
early EMP. They're denying the sound barrier from Chun-Li.
Indonesia, this is a chance. Oh, but the response back from Japan is pretty good. Okay, there's Speed. He needs to stick that and get the kill.
Okay, so both heroics from both DPS
But
lineups
there's Nico.
here, but Indonesia,
Tracers?
this has to
Okay,
be
who's
the
gonna
chance. That's so close.
We call sorry. Both of them at the same time. But he's back. This is okay. The members are back
stalemate.
already.
Okay, this is draw.
Okay, draw. We call it a draw. Okay. You're pretty good. I have to admit. Okay.
Okay, Chun-Li is finally using that sound barrier. Nico is nanoed and has that extra damage on his pocket. Japan is driving Indonesia out of their point once again.
Again, Indonesia had a quicker response. With the respawn distance, but Japan just comes back much safer somehow.
Oh, wow.
And the time is now only 35 seconds only available for the last push potential, but no ult available whatsoever. The only thing that might be charged up is Primal Rage.
So this is going to be last fight territory for Indonesia. Japan has Nico's Pulse Bomb, who has been on point so far, and KSG has that Primal Rage to push anyone out. Early kill to Chun-Li. Shrimp is perilously low, and it looks like Indonesia's hopes are fading out.
That's 10 seconds now. No support, no tank. Just speed and proxies left. Indonesia.
Okay, there
What can
is
they
a sneaky
do?
touch from
Okay, that's one tick. But you need a lot more than that. And
Is there anyone to contest?
proxies?
No!
And that is going to be it. Japan taking Blizzard World quick and handy. That's 2-0. First two, and Japan wins once again.
Yeah,
Another
3
day for Japan.
wins now in the pocket for Japan. What a dominant performance for Japan. We knew that Japan was going to be very good coming into this match. However, the manner that they played, they dominated their opponents was very, very impressive. And we can't praise them enough. Nico's heroics, we've seen a lot of good things. Even the preparations, like the coaching staff must have put in a lot of hours researching what Indonesia does well, how to, even though if we are the better team, we are going to beat you not just in mechanics, but also in strategy, which is very respectable. And also the execution, Nico's Tracer, KSG's Winston, and Cloud's Ana. Like, not just those, but the entire team was so on point, and it looks like they were on the same page. This team is very, very scary.
Yep. Team Japan seems to be the one on top. And I'm happy because I got what I wanted. Nico versus Speed 75 on that Tracer 1v1. Well, it was tied. And I really like that fight for like 15 seconds.
Yeah, that Tracer 1v1 was a treat to watch. It was full of suspense, and it was full of action.
It was really fun to watch, but Japan does take it all. But Indonesia getting no maps whatsoever. Again, can they really come back in next week's play? We'll have to see so far. But Japan, for now, they will be actually the first place in the group because they already played 3 matches all the days so far. And putting up, I guess, that makes them +6. Can't be +7,
6.
of course.
Math.
and I was in math major. Of course, I did not graduate. That's for a reason. Yeah, and that was our first match, guys. But don't go anywhere because you know what the next match is going to be? It's going to be Hong Kong versus South Korea.
Oh man, I'm hyped up for this match. Like I've been waiting
have to
for.
be here.
Like I have a little bit of bias, I'll admit, but we can't deny.
can't be
Nobody
biased.
can deny that Korea is looking really, really good, and we are talking about the best caliber teams here. Sometimes, because if you just look at the lineup, we definitely will see the lineup later today, but if you just look at the entire roster, we have Sparkle and Lip at the DPS position, Hanbin and Fearless on the tank, Chio Fielder, support, and Finn on the bench. Like, you have Finn on the bench. Like, what does that mean to you?
Well, that bench is going to be pretty hot. But before we actually jump into that match number 2, guys, we do have to take a short break. And when we come back, that huge match between South Korea and Hong Kong. And welcome back, everyone, to APAC Group A. You're watching Overwatch World Cup qualifiers, and the teams that you have waited for, they're here, and this is going to be the final match of the day for us. It's going to be Hong Kong versus South Korea, and they have been displaying some fine Overwatch moments so far.
Hey, if you can make 100% Life Weaver win rate, then that means you're pretty good right
Only
now.
only been played once, though.
But still 100%.
Except for pulling the Widow.
Yeah, but still 100%. No, I'm joking. I'm teasing you.
There's
but...
not enough numbers for you're saying that to a stat minor, it doesn't count.
Okay, gotcha. All right, I can't argue with that, but hey,
not enough database. Okay.
I do agree that Korea and Hong Kong is going to be a very interesting match because Hong Kong is still undefeated so far. They are 2-0, and with a +4 map differential, they are going through a very big test in the form of South Korea right now. And I think Hong Kong, although they are not necessarily the favorites for this match, I think it is going to be a good testing grounds for Hong Kong for their power levels because to me personally, Hong Kong is going to be the favorites for that third place in this group. And even if they qualify, they are going to play against very tough opponents. And this is going to be a good test of how they can adapt to stronger opponents. And maybe, who knows, maybe they can pull out something and pull out a miracle. If they do, this is going to be a very historic moment for this team.
Oh yes, if they do, it'll be a mark in history for sure because this the roster that you see on the screen right now is supposed to be one of the strongest teams ever in history for the World Cup. Lip Sparkle, Fearless, Fielder, Chio. Oh man.
Wow, this
remember that? I still remember that the push from Chio to get the pulse bomb from the shield to get the kill onto the opponent Tracer was crazy, and I know that highlight has been going around for the last few days.
Oh, this roster is really exciting. It is once again mentioning that this is full of champions. Lip, Fielder, Chio, just from the Atlanta Reign who won the MSM and the Overwatch League. Sparkle, Fearless, all champions from Dallas Fuel. Sparkle still with the Dallas Fuel, and Fearless on the Houston Outlaws, who is the runner-up of the MSM for Overwatch League. So these are all high top tier talent, and also their hero pools are so flexible that they can play anything. They can play any compositions that's viable in this meta right now. Lip has been playing Tracer, Ashe, and Genji. And he is known for his Sombra as well. So it enables this team to play so many things. And here we have the Hong Kong team. We have Despair, Kurumi, R3K, IRP, and Crazy. So Mango Jai is not going to
that's
start.
right. No Mango Jai.
So this is going to be interesting how this is going to find out. Maybe RRP has been looking a little bit at other options that Mango Jai was not practicing in scrims. If you can see, the portraits, hero portraits are their favorite or most played heroes for each player. So maybe the Mora might feature here. R3K is really interesting. Well, R3K is the only tank of Hong Kong right now, but have been showing Junker Queen and Ramantra. So maybe if there's a Winston map, it might be a little bit of a struggle over there. However, this roster is clearly talented, and I'm excited to see what they have. And one important thing, G-Clef, Xiaolan is not starting.
How did you know? I was about to point that out. You stole it from me. No, yeah, it's Despair right there. Maybe they're considering a few other options. I think these are hints. No Charlian, no Mango Jai. So no,
they're definitely
for
cooking
sure,
something here.
For sure, no Nano Blade. And maybe they're considering some Echo, some Pharah, as we have seen. As Pharmacy has been doing some great works in the other regions. Maybe it's a start for APAC.
Okay, and Nepal is actually, you might be up to something here, G-Club, because Nepal is a map, especially on Village, that Pharmacy has been a favorite for a while. Even in the Overwatch League, there have been a lot of pharmacies in Nepal and Village. So But what happens if there isn't Village? So maybe that's a gamble. Maybe maybe Team Hong Kong is looking for something else. But one thing is for sure, Hong Kong has been preparing for something that we have not been expected, because we have been expecting Xiaolan to start. We have been expecting Mangojai to start. So we'll definitely see. I'm excited to see what we have in store for us.
Okay. Let's see what we have on both sides. Hong Kong, well, for Hong Kong, for sure, we've seen a lot more Mei in play, even with the spare. Maybe it's going to be the similar team comp that we had from Charlien when it was in, and also RRP. The Moira player, I think a lot of the teams are finding out, especially on this patch, that Moira is actually quite effective when you are going in along with the new DPS lines.
Yeah, so Moira, the basic idea about Moira is that you want to go into their faces and do a lot of damage, and also do a lot of healing, AoE healing up front. But hey, look at this! South Korea is the one that is actually going for the Pharah.
Yeah, so late teleport in.
So the composition is actually in favor of South Korea because Hong Kong doesn't have any anti-air. Yeah, oh, that's a lot of damage. Oh my god.
Stuck in the middle.
Sparkle, you are a happy man right now.
And Lip on the other side, trying to harass, and that's a double kill already with that one rocket.
Oh my goodness.
Just having
Sparkle,
fun.
you madman. That is such a good... He already has the barrage!
No way. Just one fight. 11% from Hong Kong, but it's flipped. And let's see if they ever take it back from South Korea now. And there's a barrage and a few other ultimates being charged. 78, 66. Those are pretty high percentages.
Okay, so I understand what Hong Kong was thinking. The thought process of Hong Kong was that they wanted to...
Barrage! Here we go! Picking up one, but they did a lot more in damage.
Okay, back to the original point. I do understand that Hong Kong's initial point was that they want to go with the rush because a rush is frequently used in this map as well, and they wanted to out-rotate South Korea because they don't want to fight them on point. They just want to fight. They don't want to fight them face on, and they wanted to outrun their opponents. But South Korea, I don't know if they knew this or not, but they are profiting so much from this pharmacy here.
But okay, Hong Kong did get a flip and raised the percentages from 11 to 35 now. So South Korea, technically they're still losing, but in terms of ult charges and the management, it seems a little better still to me. And we'll see.
To be honest, I think that Hong Kong needs to make a swap for the anti-air because they are not dealing with this Pharah very well.
Okay, now the Fearless.
Kurumi very, very low.
Yeah, but being managed by the backline supports. Not as bad, actually. Staying on the point, flipped again for Hong Kong.
Yeah, so good objective management on the side of Hong Kong. However, South Korea is enjoying themselves. They are not in a hurry whatsoever here.
Going to the other side and maybe popping the barrage from the other side of barrage! Hong Kong did not expect that to happen at that moment. There's an Earth Shatter.
Good Earth Shatter that takes down Fearless. However, a good nade from the side of Fielder. However, it does not lead to any kills. And actually, Hong Kong...
Yeah, but still, the percentages going up for Hong Kong, 61% now.
Yeah, Hong Kong actually manages to hold on
South
to the point, which is
Korea? Okay, getting a few more as this will be eventually be a team wipe here with Mei going down now. And Reinhardt for the last one. But you know, with the teleport, Hong Kong's actually staying on the point, actually delaying this okay.
Yeah, so Hong Kong is actually really impressive here. Yes, they don't have anti-air. Yes, they are getting harassed day and night by Sparkle's Pharah. However, like you said, G-Clef, they are doing a very good job of objective management, and this is actually making Korea a little bit irritated here. Yes, Sparkle is doing a lot of damage here. And they got the kill, which is gonna be... They don't have the teleport!
Even before the teleport, because Symmetra was the first one down.
Okay, this is definitely gonna make South Korea match the percentages on the point. And this is... We are looking towards last fight territory. Hong Kong needs to make that teleport happen, get on the point, make sure that there is a roof so that Sparkle can't fire 360 degrees.
Hey, oh no. Look at those numbers on the right for Hong Kong. Not even close to, no. Closest thing is like the South area.
South Korea knows this,
all the way out. It's
they
92%. 93, and can you have anyone near the point? Oh, Kurumi's dead. No teleport available anymore.
The salute of victory.
And that secures the spear. Go back to your own base. There's the barrage to secure. And that's the very first. Oh, of course, Hong Kong did have a very nice idea. They had a clear concept, which I like a lot against what South Korea was able to do.
Yeah, Hong Kong. So what I'm really impressed about Hong Kong is that although they did lose this round, they had a clear idea. They had a clear checklist of what they wanted to do in order to win. And they, although it did fall a little bit short, they did their best to execute, and the team was in the same, we're walking in the same direction towards that point. So yes, I do want to give them full credit. Yes, also South Korea is a very hard opponent to go against. So even going this far is really, I think, impressive. And I think Hong Kong may be surprising us here.
And here comes the double flank. Sombra Tracer comp from South Korea now. Along with Fearless, we'll be diving in.
Okay, here is the Lip Sombra we've been waiting for. The Lip Sombra that brought that
Sparkle! That shot immediately brought down by Despair. What a shot! That's going to surprise South Korea a little bit here, Hong Kong.
Okay, so good initial kill from Hong Kong. They will be having priority on the point and will be having the first cap. However, Sparkle is moving towards the Echo now. So again, once again, Hong Kong has an air. Since they don't have anti-air, it's going to be a headache for them.
Certainly you do have to work around now that Echo is in the air. There's Hong Kong.
One good thing about Hong Kong is that they are already approaching their coalescence. Oh, good nade.
Okay.
And RP falls, which is the most important part, because there will be no coalescence available.
3-man EMP, and that might be it. South Korea might be turning it back.
Not a lot of follow-up damage.
Okay, even with that really good EMP on the rest of the 3 remaining members of Hong Kong.
Okay, so South Korea, although they did get a decent EMP, they didn't have enough follow damage to wipe out the rest of Hong Kong. So Hong Kong will be staying on this point for a while, and here's the coalescence. Putting pressure on Fielder, but Fielder does manage to survive, and Sparkle has that copy and will be wanting to use this.
On Reaper, copies Reaper, comes all the way in.
IRP very, very low.
Yeah, they can back off. It's already 60% from Hong Kong. There's that Blossom. Yeah, doing a lot of damage, and they're gathering more ult charges now.
Oh, he almost had that second Death Blossom, but no, Sparkle does get a lot of value on this Echo pick.
Yeah, hey, but unknown, 71%, and no other team has even come close to that number on control against South Korea so far, and the ult charge.
Yeah, I'm really, I can't express this enough. I'm very impressed by the side of Hong Kong.
Me too.
Hong Kong has a lot of ults to work with, and yes, here
early
is
sound barrier.
Early sound barrier, and Fielder is responding with
okay, Rampage on the back line.
Sparkle, Chio is using his ultimate, is using the rally to sustain, but Hong Kong with the ultimates are still not able to make any kills. Oh my god, this backline from South Korea is not dying.
Yeah, somehow Fielder, I think, was still able to survive, or was it Chio? Only one of the supports, they both got rampaged by Jungle Queen R3K, but one of them actually managed to survive with some minimal cover from Fearless, and manages to win with having less ult charged. But of course, it is South Korea at the end, and they're gathering, trying to chase that a 71% now.
Again, Hong Kong had the right idea, because if they won this fight, this would have been a easy overtime fight for the side of Hong Kong, so they invested a lot of ults. However, the backline for South Korea was so sturdy. Sparkle! Oh my god, Sparkle!
The entire team wipe. Sparkle on ground, by the way. And you still have that duplicate. I guess if you can get that 5 kills like that, you basically have your ult charged already.
And yes, like you said, G-Clev, Sparkle has his copy, Lip with the EMP. So this fight, although Hong Kong does have a fight, I think they have one more fight in them. It's not going to be an easy fight, because ultimates are in the favor of South Korea. There
5%
is that
off.
Junker Queen.
Oh, he 4-man EMP, and the tank's gone. Krumi almost dead. Despair is fighting for his life.
Down, and the only one left are the... Oh, it's actually Despair now. Doesn't have... Okay, cannot be able to contest, and that is a win for South Korea on Nepal. Okay, wow, that was really impressive. I mean, yes, South Korea South Korea was really good, especially with the compositions that they were playing. I wasn't expecting a Pharah or maybe an Echo a little bit, but not the Pharah. But I really want to praise Hong Kong here because Hong Kong, although they did lose 2-0, that score does not do them enough justice. They pulled, I wouldn't say they pushed Korea to the limit, but they were good enough to give South Korea a warning.
Yeah, I
sign.
think I fully agree. South Korea, I think there were some moments where they wanted to test a few other things, few other team comps, especially at the beginning of the both control maps. And Hong Kong, they literally pinned down on that right point. They had the teleport, wanted to go on with the Reinhardt. They had a very good understanding of what they wanted to do against South Korea and almost made it work. Didn't really get to like a 90% or 99% to contest all the way out, but still to be able to contest one of the best teams in the world right now, I think that gave a lot of promising signs for Hong Kong there.
Exactly, a lot of promising signs, and going into the next map, which Hong Kong will have type selection and map selection. I think that maybe maps like Shambali, where there won't be as much Winston, because R3K will be the only tank on the side of Hong Kong. They can have things their way. Although, I mean, it doesn't mean that South Korea can't play in those maps. It's just that Hong Kong will need every advantage that they need, and they will be able to set that up.
Yeah, there will be a lot of potential maps and potential plays coming off from Hong Kong and South Korea. I think there's still room for them to actually try a few more things. I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing, maybe not on after trying a lot of those out in the control, maybe not for the second map, as they did feel somewhat more pressure from Hong Kong, what they were able to do. The pressure was certainly there. And you could realize in the middle or after a minute or minute and a half into the map, they're saying, okay, we have to take it seriously now and just literally just go all the way out and bring our best. Like Sparkle at that moment, well, Sparkle, especially on that Echo, was just putting on the right target.
Sparkle was not just on the Echo of the Pharah as well. He was phenomenal and putting out all that damage, and his ult charges were just unbelievable. I thought his lobby settings were a little weird. I thought his ult charge was like 200%. But no, but that's just joking. He's just a wonderful player. I also want to give praise to the Korean backline, like Chio and Fielder. They were not dying. There was this fight on the second round that I think Hong Kong had 4 ults, and then they kind of invested wholly into the fight. And although Fielder did eventually fall, the Chio Fielder backline just refused to fall. And they provided enough sustain to overcome that ult deficit, and that was really, really impressive. And I think that is one of the reasons why South Korea is considered one of the best teams in this tournament.
Yeah, and one of my favorite moments was when the spares May was just staying near the back room, not even contesting. Okay, guys, take the map, okay? I lost the rest of the members, and I don't want to die again. Just leave me alone for 5 seconds, okay? And that was the end of Nepal there. A lot of fun things. Actually, also some trials from Hong Kong too, because they're trying the spare for the first time and also RP for the first time instead of Mango Jai. So maybe they will stick to, depending on the map, they might just stick to this roster, the starting roster from Hong Kong, or we might see some subs coming in later on.
Yeah, so it looks like the map is going to be King's Row.
Oh, is it? I think this is our first King's Row. If I'm not mistaken,
if
for the World Cup.
If you are not mistaken, yes, for the World Cup qualifiers, yes. At least for today, and I don't think I've seen any King's Row on the World Cup qualifiers, at least on APAC-A, because a lot of the teams were opting to go for Blizzard World instead of King's Row. King's Row is an interesting choice. Winston is playable here. Ram Rush is also playable here. I don't think it'll be a lot of Junker Queen that much, but yeah. I do think that in this case, Xiaolan should be coming in back because Genji is a viable pick here. And if I remember correctly, Xiaolan also had some fond memories and contenders APAC.
Oh, yes. Certainly did with Hanzo, with a few other heroes. And now, though, even for the first point, we did see from the attacking side some initial Widowmakers, but especially after the patch, it's not. I don't think it's happening too often anymore. And okay, talking
yeah.
about Hong Kong, they do have subs now.
Yeah, Xiaolan is coming in, Mango Jai back in as well. R3K is hovering that Junker Queen that I've been saying that is not that viable here. But hey, if you're good as R3K, maybe Junker Queen works as well. It is going to be a challenge to, oh, good nade, initial nade here, and a hack.
To start off, Liv almost died there. 30
yes.
HP.
But back to the point, R3K will be having a hard time getting access to the high ground. It will be up to Xiaolan and Kurumi to go to get that access, high ground access. But Kurumi falls early to Lip. Chio takes care of Xiaolan, and Hong Kong definitely has to reset. Chio is bloodthirsty.
Vampire? If you want that much blood, I mean, come on, Hong Kong. They got the initial touch onto the point, but not enough to get a tick. Though there was that biotic grenade from Fielder all the way down, thinking that they would come out already.
So the problem about Hong Kong's composition right now is that they don't have a lot of mobility. Well, yes, the DPS do have a lot of mobility, and also Mango Jai, but the tank with the Junker Queen, if they want to go in, if they want to move into the point, they are vulnerable to a lot of the abilities of South Korea, like Fielder. Fielder's anti-nade is going to be available on the way to Hong Kong's route to the point.
Oh.
Fielder does fall good. So good play from Xiaolan and Kurumi, the DPS duo of Hong Kong. I think South Korea does have to concede at least 2 ticks. Maybe South Korea wants to contest with the EMP here.
It depends. There's a Tracer running by Sparkle. Tours around the corner. Maybe.
Okay, yes, there is that EMP there. It gives them enough time to contest. And Mango Jai uses the Kitsune Rush. Korea was not able to touch in time for that test.
Yep, actually Fearless jumped out from the point, and Hong Kong actually sustaining well enough against all that.
Okay, so I think this is their first slip out from Korea here. Yes, they did lose a few team fights before, but I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that Korea has made so far in the tournament. Yes, Lip, it was good EMP on Lip to contest the point, and Fearless jumped in after. But as they were trying to juggle the point and be in a better position, nobody was on point for a split moment, and that was enough for Hong Kong to cap the point. Now Hong Kong has Rampage, has the Death Blossom, and has the Dragon Blade with only just the rally here. I don't think they have enough sustain.
Yeah, Genji was hacked for a second against the Sombra there, but still surviving Charlene all the way up on top. Doesn't against Fearless. Oh, looking for that kill. Runs away.
Mango Jai very low and hacked. Am Crazy as well, but I think it looks like they will be
Where's
surviving the morning. However, Sparkle taken down by Mango Jai. Oh, is this going to be our free point
without
B?
Fearless. The other point. What is happening? South Korea dropping a point and more.
Okay, South Korea
That's 2-0 for now.
needs to wake up. Hong Kong didn't even use their ultimates that they had, so it's going to be a fight in their favor again because.
Where is Fearless? Still coming back.
Okay, now I see Fearless
with Lip
is low, but not down. Okay, good kill on Kurumi, so that is going to stabilize things a little bit, and also Xiaolan is down, so Hong Kong does have to reset, and it's finally going to stabilize for South Korea. However, still, Hong Kong has a lot of ults at their disposal. South Korea only has EMP and Rally, which is not going to be enough if Hong Kong decides to pull all of those Qs.
All 4 ready to go, and Crazy 30% away. South Korea, I'm pretty sure they are reading this okay. They gave out 2 points already, and that was quick. Still having 3 minutes, 51 seconds, so that might be enough time to push all the way. But the final point, of course, is one of the hardest. And here comes Lip with the EMP.
Lip with the early EMP. Good kill on Xiaolan. So the Dragon Blade denied. Hong Kong has yet to back up again. However, they are deciding to commit Mango Jai with the Kitsune Rush, but without making any kills. So it's an ultimate gone for the side of Hong Kong.
Still holding up here.
South Korea now has that nano and
Sound barrier.
and the Primal Rage here, so they have tools to fight back now.
Now the Winston on Fearless still having a lot of room to sparkle. That's going to be a kill onto Kurumi's Reaper. And just popping one by one, not all at the same time, just when it's needed. Calculated plays coming out from South Korea, holding the point.
South Korea was slipping up until Hong Kong capped the second point, but after that, South Korea is coming back to their senses. They are making some really good plays. Hong Kong had an immense ult advantage, but now it's only to I think they're pretty much even now because they only have that Dragon Blade.
Oh, here we go.
What is coming? And
oh, nice block
it's not
onto
even
that nade, but
oh no, the backline is unkillable!
he even has to pop the Rampage just to get the back line. One ult was not enough. But two ults certainly enough, and no one's on that payload. Now it's pushing now, but I think they lost a second there.
Okay, Hong Kong used a lot, but it got the job done, and now they're approaching to the fight where they can actually full cap King's Row. EMP there takes down Kurumi, so maybe not right now. Hong Kong has to back out.
Now 2:10 left, and South Korea is coming back hard. With Lip in the perfect position, EMP always grabbing a few or more. Hong Kong now, after using that many, now 2 minutes, they might have one big fight available with the ults, but it's going to take some time to get the ult charges back.
I think Hong Kong has about 2 fights, maybe 3 if it's a super clean wipe. They will have one big chance because of when they have their support ults online, it is going to be their chance because since Chio went to swap for the Zenyatta, ult charges are going to be a little bit slower. Yes, Fielder will be having that nano, which is on right now. Hong Kong will be having their chance. This is going to be their chance. It is a 4v5. However, the sound barrier is up. The Kitsune Rush is up. They're not profiting from it, though.
Double supports after the ultimate. Nothing really traded. It's just their own ults being used from Hong Kong's side, and they only have a minute now.
Oh, I think Hong Kong should have kept those support ults for the next fight because it was going to be their own, I guess, their biggest opportunity. And now with Lip with the early EMP again, that is going to be another stall for South Korea. How does Lip get these EMPs so quickly?
And it's actually going for the timing that Hong Kong wasn't exactly ready. They're trying to regroup at the right point to rally together and then go for the attack. But South Korea, they were just slightly faster, like 0.2, 0.3 seconds. And sometimes you don't expect that timing to be by EMP.
Okay, Kurumi is closing up to his Death Blossom, and also R3K is going to have that Rampage by the next fight. Chio has the Transcendence. However, if R3K's Rampage is on point, the anti-heal will be enough. But not if Mango Giant and Kurumi fall.
Okay, 10
Here
seconds
is
now.
that R3K Rampage. Chio keeps himself alive with the Transcendence, so only Fielder falls, and I don't think there's anyone to touch.
Yeah, it's not going to be available as the entire team did go down a few seconds ago. And South Korea, they do stop Hong Kong from taking all 3, but we finally do have a team pushing points against South Korea, which is still very impressive what Hong Kong was able to do. Of course, there has been some minor mistakes coming up from South Korea on the first point, and we could see those, but still Hong Kong providing real nice answers.
Yeah, Hong Kong, although were not able to full cap King's Row. King's Row is a pretty hard map to full cap, and credit to them for making this far. I think this was the closest team, at least in this tournament, although this is South Korea's second game. I think they've been really close to wounding South Korea. And South Korea, although they, like you said, G-Club, they did make a lot of mistakes, but great defense on point C. And I'm looking forward to what Lip can do. Lip's Sombra was insane on that defense.
As that might continue with another hero, any hero of his choice from Lip. And Hong Kong bringing Ash from Kurumi. Yeah, some more hit scan damage along with Shaolian's Tracer. Well, we'll have to hold on to that.
Well, it is defense, so Xiaolan is going to play the Tracer, at least for the time being.
Yeah, which is not the most common hero that we see from Shaolian.
Usually, yes, it wasn't Xiaolian on that Tracer that much. It was more on the Genji and maybe even the Mei. So South Korea is responding with a few changes after seeing Hong Kong's composition. So it's going to be Winston and Tracer Ashe. Lip also showing how he could be so good on the Ashe last game 2 days ago. So this is going to be an interesting fight of the snipers. I think Ashe is just basically replacing the Widowmaker in that she can do damage both mid-range and long range. So yes, it's not going to be a guaranteed one-hit kill, but yes, she can do that. So she can also have access to high ground with her Chef as well, Coach Gun as well. And oh my god, Lip! Stop! You are killing people left and right. And can Hong Kong contest? Maybe Xiaolan can with that Tracer. However, I don't think it's going to be for long. And South Korea will be taking a quick point A.
Yeah, very quick. The first push does manage to work with basically snipes coming out from that Ashe. And Hong Kong, I'm pretty sure they have to be ready. They had their own Ashe, had an idea for sure. And that's another big shot.
So I think Hong Kong has the right idea. They can't compete with Lip on the Ashe. So they are going to swap to the Genji and the Reaper so that they can get close to Lip and take them out close range. I think it's a good idea in theory. It remains to be seen how good they can execute this. Xiaolan is known for his good Genji, so I'm expecting some good things here, but Lip is on another level here, almost closing to the Bob already.
Yeah, even those Dynamite has been hurting the top line. The players from Hong Kong up top, and this Genji. Have to be careful.
The Bob already. Zone out. Everyone on Hong Kong, they are trapped in that little corridor over there, while the rest of the members of South Korea are just free pushing the payload.
Okay, that could have been a very dangerous pulse, but still managed to survive. There is Fearless now, and Crazy first one to go down. But R3K responding okay, but the rest of the members on the other side of the map, Hong Kong, not really. Their plans are not really working at the moment. South Korea pushing the payload once again.
So more than three members on the payload means that I don't think there will be a further contest for this point. Oh man, it's going to be a uphill fight for Hong Kong here because their ults are maybe, yes, the Kitsune Rush is going to be online, but that damage followed up by Fearless, the right-click kill on Xiaolan, the disrespect.
That shouldn't be staying here this long alone. Well, there's a Winston, and even the Mercy now powering up. But Hong Kong literally trapped near their response.
Yes, Mangujai is putting up the Kitsune Rush, but Fearless on that Primal Rage is pushing them out. So that's once again, pushing people out. And that's a free payload push, but now Hong Kong is on the card. Korea has to be a little bit careful because the sound barrier is on and the rampage is there, but no! R3K dies, so there's no rampage on the side of Hong Kong. South Korea, it's playtime for Bob.
Another Bob, Fearless right next to it, and they just have to dodge right after the fade. What can you actually do? Oh, South Korea about to finish this. Lip pushing the line. Charlotte here
has to use the rampage just to get on the card, not to... Oh, okay, so good headshot onto Lip. So maybe South Korea has to reset.
Mangujai strikes. Sparkle! That's another one. And can you get more? Another kill!
Sparkle!
From Sparkle alone! And Fearless is now here. Krumi right next to it. The Reaper instantly dies. So now Mercy providing some damage. Charlotte tried to play this one out, but not close enough. And Korea is going to take another map off of Hong Kong, and the winner of the match is South Korea once again.
Wow, what a display from South Korea. Yes, Hong Kong put up a good fight. Like, all props to Hong Kong, respect to Hong Kong. But South Korea, after that a little bit slippery defense on King's Row, were on very serious mode and showed why people are routing them as tournament favorites.
as many fans have waited for South Korea to show some more Overwatch action. I think we've seen quite a lot of display today with a whole lot of different comps happening, especially on our first map, and also King's Row, which was quite unexpected to be actually pushed back all the way. But that's how good Hong Kong was today, especially after the changing with the substitutions of having Mango Jai back, and also Charlene's back with that Genji to have some really nice play that we could see in King's Row. But of course, South Korea did win at the end of the day, but they're the clear favorite of the entire group.
So yeah, once again, I just want to say how, number one, South Korea proved how good they were. Number two, Hong Kong, despite being on that much going against the giants named South Korea, they put up a good fight. And I really want to give praise for that. And although they did lose 2-0, this is one of the matches that kind of makes me feel that Hong Kong is going to be a clear favorite for third place on this group.
Yes, and we saw some scary moments coming out from Sparkle on each map at least once. That's going to be the result for tonight. Only 2 matches. Indonesia, Japan. Japan was the victor from that match. And match number 2 that we just had, South Korea is going to be bringing that 2 wins. Plus 2 map differential, but South Korea only played 2 matches. Japan had 3 matches already. So with the update, we'll have the updated standings. Still just even numbers all the way top to bottom.
So the 2 Overwatch continues for APAC-A, and Japan on the top, like you said, G-Clef, with 3 matches and 3 2-0s makes them number 1 in the group for now. South Korea is not far away with 2 wins and no losses, 4-0. Hong Kong did finally drop their undefeated run finishes, but with honor, and they are 2-1 with +2, and I think they should be in a pretty good place to keep that 3rd place. And we have our next schedule next week. The action continues, G-Clef.
Action, of course, continues until the end of next week, and that's going to be another really cool matches. The 2 matches that we can't wait to see. That's going to be first one, Indonesia versus Chinese Taipei. The second on the next schedule will be Philippines versus South Korea. Yes, very interesting matches, as we can't really quite tell who the winner certainly is going to be for the first match.
Yeah, Indonesia versus Chinese Taipei is going to be very, very important for both teams because
they need to win.
They need to win. If you lose this match, I think they are mathematically eliminated from this group. So, and even if you win, you still have a long way to go. So I think in a sense that this is going to be the most important match of this group, unironically, because qualification is on the line here. Philippines, South Korea, I hate to say this, but South Korea is looking like the clear favorites after what I've been seeing from both sides. South Korea, sheer dominance. I have to say this. Lip. Sparkle too. Sparkle on Nepal. No, Sparkle on Nepal. Lip on King's Row. What a monstrous display from both DPSs. This DPS lineup is scary.
Yeah, I think scary might not be the best word to describe them, because they are... I don't think they still displayed 100% of their power level. That's the real scary thing.
Yeah, you haven't seen Sparkle's Genji yet. We haven't.
Well, we've seen Lips Genji a little bit. Very impressive.
Okay, that was the preview.
Oh no sarcasm right there at all.
And also, a very impressive showing display once again from the backline of South Korea, the Atlanta Rain duo. They just refuse to fall down. And even if they do fall after such a long fight, prolonged fight, that provides so much sustain for the entire team of South Korea. Yes, they did make a few mistakes, even especially on the defense for King's Row, but it doesn't yes, it may be a little bit concerning, but in the end, it really doesn't matter.
Yes. Oh, the power level and the quality of South Korea and what they can actually do in the group, in the qualifiers. Imagine when they're up in the next stage and higher stage from that moment. Wow. As many of you, I'm sure you want to follow all these teams from APAC Group A and see what they're all about, because a lot of these players, of course, comes from having very rich history in Overwatch, plus coming from incredible teams all over the world, basically. But for now, South Korea is certainly dominating and showing. Actually, proving what they are made up of.
And remember, South Korea is here with vengeance. They are not the defending champions of this tournament.
No, they are
The
not.
last World Cup, that was in 2019. The holders are the USA. So Korea is looking for their
own Avengers,
Yes.
and they have it. It
Looking
seems
for
like
their
they have their
vengeance
own
here.
Avengers.
It's the redemption arc for Team Korea. And so they are ready to show a very pleasing display. They want to satisfy their fans. They are here to represent their country. And wow, what a early showing from South Korea.
Yes, and South Korea, let's see how long they can win. They might not even drop a single map in the qualifiers. That is totally possible. Let's see if that
It is
actually
a little early to say that. We do have
the last match.
maybe at the current moment, I think if you just look at the power levels, anything can happen in Overwatch. And these are all the 6 teams in APAC-A are, once again, I say, mechanically gifted teams and players. It's a matter of how experienced they are, how tactics, what their hero pool looks like. And from what I've been seeing so far, if there is a team that can take a map off Korea, it is going to be Japan, because I thought it was going to be either Japan or Hong Kong that might have the most highest probability of taking a map off Korea. And then Hong Kong, yes, they did put up a good fight, but they eventually, in the end, they did not take a map away with South Korea. So the last match of our group is going to be a very, very exciting one. And still, speaking of Hong Kong, I want to praise them a little more, because yes, it's a 2-0. Yes, it might have been a dominant display on the side of South Korea, but Hong Kong really put up a good fight.
I really like the match, though. Even though the result ends up being a 2-0 map score, we had a lot of in detail moments, especially Hong Kong trying on Nepal, really going for the teleport play into the first control point. I'm pretty sure South Korea was actually quite surprised that they have prepared that specific team comp against. But that's going to be it for us for day number 3 for APAC Group A. Please tune in next week, and we will have even better matchups, better lineups for everyone as we continue to go through the Overwatch World Cup qualifiers for Group A of APAC. But that's going to do it. Unknown, thank you. I was G Clef. See you guys next time.